Hi, it's Lavender Sky Panther with you for a Celtic-inspired card reading today. It is Thursday, October 26th, 2023, and I did hint that this was coming soon in one of my previously posted YouTube shorts, which features this beautiful plasma ball in action with the butterfly as the filament. This is now, it's inactive. I pulled the plug on it, so go check out that video if you want to see it in action. We're going to be having a nature intensive read, since it is Celtic inspired. I've got my little bundle of cedar here. I've got the ogham, the tree alphabet. These little staves, mini staves, are gathered and collected and represent each of the trees with the matching tree alphabet on there. Now, in a previous show I did, number 141, I think it is, called Tree, Sky, Sun. In the intro, I cover this a little bit. If I think of it later, I will post just a couple of still slides from that show on my community page if you don't want to go dig it out from the video itself. And it's a fascinating world, so maybe this is a call for you to look into that if you're not familiar with them. When I was reading earlier, hopefully this was correct information, but it said that, excuse me, if the tree alphabet, the character is placed on wood or stone, you read it from bottom to top, like as if climbing a tree. But if you put it on parchment or something, then you would read the alphabet from left to right. So anyway, you might want to do some more research and digging on your own. Take a look at that whole exciting world of the tree alphabet and the trees, actually, and what each tree itself, the meaning of it, and what it was used for in old times, and a lot of that's relevant today as well. Now, also, I'm going to be putting a link down below, which it might be more exciting than watching this video, to be honest, but I was fascinated by it. It's so much so that I recalled it immediately when I saw this card. It took me back to 4 years ago when I saw this, and it is a gentleman who talks in Scotland who talks about all the different uses for a staff, like a hiking staff. And it's pretty fascinating. There are so many uses, way more than you would think at first glance. So you might want to have a take a look there. And so anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way at the beginning of this video, so don't forget later. So let's get into it. It doesn't matter if you've read The Lord of the Rings or not. We're using this deck. I'll put the detail on it in the description below if I didn't say that already. Sorry if I repeated. Really beautiful, gorgeous deck. The artwork on it, the meanings, and the characters that he chooses, for each card, are pretty much right on. Although I am using this, to be honest, kind of the first time now. There's the back of the cards, but it's just really beautiful. So if you're not familiar with the literature, don't worry about it. Like I always say, and I've said in previous shows, if you are contemplating reading them, the books you haven't read yet, The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings, I highly recommend actually reading The Lord of the Rings first. And it looks like 3 books or 3 volumes, but it's really meant to be one overall work, like one big book, just, divided up into 3 parts. So you have The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, you have The Two Towers, and you have The Return of the King. And I really favor the Two Towers book, just the way it's written, and the content in there is pretty amazing. Now, if you've only seen the movies, you can't judge the book by the movie. The book is incredible. I find it so much more, rich and in so many ways, as many novels or books are when you compare them to the movie. In this case, absolutely, you've got to read the books if you haven't. The movies show, excuse me, a lot of the graphic and gore and in certain ways, with all of the battles, and the books really were not that way. There was some at the end, I would say, but, not at all like depicted in the movies. And, I don't like all that graphic stuff. So that's why I'm leaning even more toward the books. And there's just so much rich detail in them. Really worth a read. All right. So that's my little notice on that. So anyway, let's get into the reading. What I'm going to do is, this is the format, just to give you a heads up where we're going. I am going to use this, though, as being on the left to past energies, past energies. The middle is going to be the current energies, and on the right is energies of where we're headed. Below are the underlying or supporting energies. And then at the top, I'm just going to call it like the all-encompassing energy, or I don't want to say overarching, but that does kind of sum up, what that does, the energies there. So let's have a look. Now, I am going to cover, the characters. I'm just going to mention them by name, and I'm going to, maybe read a little bit more from that parchment poster descriptions, but Again, do read the book so you can get more richness out of this maybe on your own too. But I'll just refer to the characters in a very light way. We won't get too deep into it in case you have not read or seen, any of this story, okay, of Lord of the Rings. All right, so let's start off here. We have Page of Swords, which happens to be Pippin if you know or familiar with the story. But for now, if you don't, it's okay. But we have someone who looks very kind of wayworn and weary. Got circles under the eyes. It just looks like it's been a long haul, that he's kind of, ready kind of, to take action and go to battle if he has to. But you can tell really doesn't want to. He still has a hand on the sheath, and, he's kind of in a point of flux or indecision, like, do I have to fight? Like, really? Like, okay, I will, but will I? I don't know. And the helmet's off, so he's not ready to fight. It's not who he is. And yet he's finding himself in a situation where he might need to, even kind of against his will. The character himself is very idealistic, kind of happy-go-lucky, kind of like what do you call it? Like kind of like a bumbling fool, if you will, of sorts, but his intentions are good. It's just like things don't always express how he intends them to. And he's prone to some like carelessness and some accidents. But again, he doesn't intend to do it. It just sometimes these things just happen because his very character, that's who he is. And he can't change that. So here he's trying to change and be something he's not, I guess is the point. So as this might apply to you, past energies are maybe you were playing a role that really wasn't you. Maybe, you had the right from the outside appearances, the right job, the right everything. But it wasn't you. It wasn't in your heart. It wasn't who you really were. And so that's why you kind of feel tired because you've been kind of like an imposter. You've been living like a fake life, If that's not you and you're totally happy with where you are, this could just mean that the past energies are maybe there was like a standstill or a little bit of a pause in what your normal routine was. Like maybe you were ready to keep going on full, but something kind of blocked you and you're just caught in this like moment of, oh, what's going on, right? It could mean any number of things, but for me, for past energies, it's still the overwhelming message is kind of like dealing with something that is not the authentic self or not fully expressing who you really are. Like he's just holding this sword kind of half so, half baked, half cocked up there. It's not in an assertive or, confident, rising that sword up like, yeah, into the heavens. It's just kind of like, okay, do I want to hold this? So anyway, it's kind of like a wishy-washy. It's neither here nor there. Doesn't mean that's a bad thing. It's just all pointing out to, past energies are maybe like a standstill or something kind of feels stuck in the mud a bit also. All right, now we're going to look at the current energies, and we have Rosie. Oh, you know what? I did want to read that, but do I? No, we'll keep going. I'll read one of the other, I'll read the characters below from the companion sheet up here. Okay, anyway, now we have Rosie. And what she's representing is peace and calm and wisdom, kind of the sum of a lot of things. When we look at like, this is almost like a horizon line where the floor is meeting the wall. And she's kind of backlit, so she's really illuminated, with knowledge. She's got the circle. She's kind of got completion. She's feeling really good. She's got her hand kind of almost over her solar plexus, which just means she's calmed and feels comfortable with where she's at. And hopefully that applies to you too. She's also kind of mastered the elements in harmony with them, and to the extent that the wildflower is a part of her adornment and in her hair interwoven. And, we don't know if that ring of completion or peace, if it's, laurels for victory, if it's olive leaves for, peace, or, even yet something else. But we know that she feels good in and amongst herself. She's in alignment. And she's in alignment with nature because we've got all the elements. We've got kind of the fire and air behind her. We have presumed like water in the vessels here, and we've got the earth below her feet. So it's kind of like that, home is where the heart is, home is where the hearth is kind of energy. And that could be anywhere, in the world. And it just happens to be in this little, Celtic inspired universe, if you will, of the Lord of the Rings. Okay, I am going to read hers. because I think there was actually something that was pretty in there. And this is the Queen of Rings. So if you just give me a minute, I'm going to focus here while I try to flip on the poster to the right place. Oh, and of course, I think it's on the other side. Give me a minute. Okay, I'm going to read it off camera, and the other ones I'll try to read on camera. If you give me one more moment there. It's a little unwieldy, but it is a really nice, really beautifully done poster format. And you're getting a sneak peek at what's coming next, but don't freak out. Okay, what is she? She is Queen of Rings. Okay, here we go. Rosie Gamgee, a loving mother, gentle spirit, and wise woman, Rosie Gamgee brings balance into your reading. When she turns up, it's a confirmation that you are aligned with your highest self, able to pursue your career and care for the people you love. So yeah, she's symbolized confidence, peace, balance, wisdom, and caring about people around her. So there you go. Now some of you might say, well, there's nobody around me at the moment, especially if you found my channel and or if you found my channel and are on a spiritual awakening path. You might notice that a lot of people have dropped away for various reasons. Not all bad, just it's just the time of separation of energies and frequencies as we are ascending from a 3D to a 5D situation. But anyway, even if that's happening, she does not care. She looks fine and content no matter what's going on, okay? When we hop over to the card, the Tower, again, don't freak out. All hell can be breaking loose, like quite literally here. If you know the story, that's Mordor, that's the Black Tower, or, I forget the name of it. People don't hate. if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, I should remember the name of it. Let me see. You know what? I'm going to go to it. That's not excusable. I got to tell you the name of the tower. I can almost remember it, but I don't want to steer you wrong. Give me a second. And again, sorry for the shaky camera work while I look. Come on, where's the tower? Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry guys. It's yeah. Some of you probably already know it. The tower is Barad-dûr, okay? And then I'll just read it while we're here. Acres of destruction make way for radical creation. When this dark fortress topples into your reading, get ready to traverse the fallout. But you know what? Good. Because you take a look at this tower, look at it. Look at the background. It's a pretty pathetic, miserable situation here, environment. Everything looks toxic in the air. Everything looks really like jagged and very unfriendly, very hostile. So do we really want to keep that? No, slash it, get that sword and just freaking cut that thing down. Let's see it topple and let's celebrate it toppling, because that is an old vision that somebody of dark forces envisioned and created that. Does that look like anything that would be in this girl's world? That she would even imagine this? No, that's us here. We're good. We may have had, things in the past we're not quite sure about. We don't know what happened, why it had to happen, but it's okay. That was the past. We're sitting pretty here. She's got a beautiful little dress on. She's sitting pretty. And do you think there's one thought in this girl's mind that this is happening? No. So if this comes to her front door or her backyard, does it even still look like she cares? No. She's at total peace. She's completely enlightened behind her. Her, the light is above this horizon line, if you will, is at her chakras of the heart space and her mind, her crown chakra, right? Look, even if she turns this a certain way, it becomes a crown on her head, for like victory and enlightenment. So does this face her at all? No. If she had to face this, like out there, wherever this is in Mordor, she would just walk up and look at it and just have that inner knowing that, okay, let that thing fall and, good riddance, and like blow it a kiss goodbye. Why? Because this is coming on the heels of it. That stuff has to break away so the sun can come back in, and that life is restored to a better balance of harmony, of living things, not death and destruction. But that needs to crumble and fall. Like they say, you got to have the breakdown and the total crumbling so you can have the breakthrough. And this is beautifully breaking through the ice and snow, and nature finds a way, right? And it's just beautiful. And even that nature provides healing for people. If you look at the medicinal properties of the plants and flowers, we might do that on a bonus card, toward the end. So we got a very strong fire and ice theme, right? And we've got two different types of rocky conditions. Where do you want to be? That's got to go so we can get to this picture, this vision, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just say goodbye, it's also like out with the old, in with the new, right? So we'll say goodbye to that tower because this is the vision we are holding. And that could even be on the bigger picture. We're looking at ascension. This is goodbye to 3D Earth and all the negativity, the killing, and all the bad stuff that exists there. And now we are ushering in only holding the vision of the new. Doesn't mean it's perfect, but it's much better than that other vision, correct? But that's where we're headed, okay? Now, the underlying energies are really beautiful, and this is where it would help, if you're not familiar with The Lord of the Rings, to read it. And I do recommend, if I didn't mention it at the beginning, to definitely read The Lord of the Rings before you would read The Hobbit. To me, it's a completely different author that wrote The Hobbit, even though they're both attributed to Tolkien. To me, it's like impossible if you read them both. And it's not a function of the author of The Hobbit was younger, and then, and he got older, he was more mature and had more experience. No, I'm saying it's two totally different people, if not more than that. I think in The Lord of the Rings, I've made my opinion known before in other shows. I really think that if it was Tolkien, he just straight up channeled much of that book and something else flowed through him. Or it was a number of different types of maybe other entities that channeled through him. And I think you'll understand why if you found my channel and if you read the books. I recommend you start off with Lord of the Rings and then kind of backtrack and read The Hobbit. That's how I would do it. But obviously it's up to you, and it's worth checking out. The books, I don't know if I mentioned it before, I just find much more richer and better, certainly than the movies. And I think I did mention it. Sorry for asking, or questioning that, but I've had to do several takes of this reading already for various reasons. All right, anyway, this is our underlying energy. We have King of Wands, which is the Ent, or Treebeard is the character, and the Queen of Wands, which is Arwen, from the book. Now, what's interesting is, okay, if you don't know, familiar with the characters, this is an Ent, which is a very wise, tree figure who can walk and talk and has memories, experiences a lot of things, is very magical. And Arwen is also, in her own way, very influential, even though she's like on the more quiet side. Both of these characters can be like gentle and blend in the background, so to speak, or they can come out a little bit stronger where they need to. We've got the gentle giant archetype, and she's the wise and fair, kind of like a princess type almost. So we've got the masculine and feminine energies, but both possess a wisdom, and when interacting in the stories, both command high respect, actually, without saying a word almost. Anyway, I'm going to actually read both of these from the parchment poster here because there's some nice things in there. So give me 1 second. And again, pardon the shaky camera work as I try to fumble through this with the other hand. Hold on. And try to get to it. Here we go. King and Queen of Wands. And then I'm just getting a little phrase like, yeah, you make the magic happen. You don't have to be a king or queen. You don't have to be, have so much experience. Just come as you are and make some good stuff happen just by your presence when you walk in a room. All right, so King of Wands. Here we go. Treebeard. I'm just going to read it off camera. A shepherd of the trees, Treebeard, aka Fangorn, is a natural-born leader. He understands that patience is the key to success and encourages you to accept the challenge that is being presented to you with determination and the maturity to honor your commitments. You are capable of anything. All right, then we'll jump right to Queen of Wands, Arwen. When the even star rises in the night sky, it's impossible to look away. So it goes for the Queen of Wands, who enters your reading as a peacemaker, someone who brings others together under her shared vision and uses her influence and charm to forge lasting friendships. Arwen is nudging you into the spotlight, reassuring you that now is the time for networking, meeting new people, and building community. If you have been holding back your thoughts, stop. Speak your mind. Others are listening. All right, that's good. So out of this pair, we have a nice balance. And we're told by the description they're both leaders, right, in their own ways. What I like with Arwen is, yeah, urging you to go into the spotlight can be any number of things. You know, there's a strong star energy connected with her character. She even has them on her gown. And, you know, you can, being a star and going to the spotlight means different things to different people, right? You can be a star without like being quote unquote on camera or on stage. You can be a star at what you do. You know, maybe you're even just a star in your own eyes. You know, why are we always looking to others to approve us or, you know, give us that boost of confidence? You can just literally look up to the stars and connect in with that star power energy, right? But anyway, this could be a literal call to get out there and do something you wouldn't normally do. I often say, if you say you don't know where to start, you know, or you don't have a community around you, if you don't have any family or friends right now, a lot of us don't because we're in this weird, you know, spiritual transition. And, you know, friends and family seem to be, like I think I already mentioned, not well, some literally disappearing and just some kind of weirdly moving out of our lives, inexplicably so. And it's just because there is a separation happening of the frequencies, as you know, we are getting ready to shift, or we're in the middle of shifting, you know, from 3D to 5D energies. So anyway, point is, think about it. What do you need nudging on? I'll be here to be your tough love, or you know, easy, you know, to kinder, you know, softer love to push you along and get you going. So what have you wanted to do that you just didn't do for any number of reasons? You know, I hate to say it this way, but imagine, you know, don't imagine. Let me put it a different way. Just say it happens to be like all of us know that suddenly tomorrow is the last day that we have on this planet. It's not going to happen. I'm not doing any doom or gloom. I'm just trying to make a point. Hypothetically, okay? Let's just say we know for sure, and I don't know how we know for sure, but we just do because we're making this up, that, oh my gosh, you know, the planet as we know it, and as we're moving along now, it's going to be the last day tomorrow but it's okay because it's for all of us. So, you know, we're not like leaving anyone behind or anything. So let's just say that it happened. Then what would you miss? What would you wish you had done? And I'm just saying that because I was faced with that moment where I was told I wasn't going to live to the next day in a hospital setting many years ago. And I had to get at peace real quick with, oh my God, you know, literally what happens then? And what would I miss? And I'll tell you, the first thing that came to my mind, of course, somewhere in there was a flash of family and friends, people I love. But really, the overriding thing that came up was, oh my gosh, I'm going to so miss the trees. And I was surprised by that myself. Like, I will really miss trees, you know. Maybe there are better ones wherever, you know, the next thing is. But my gosh, if I have to leave here, I would really miss the trees. So maybe think about that and use that as a starting point to what you should maybe get into, or here again, this is back to the nudge, to nudge you into something. So say, let's just use my example. Okay, so say I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss trees. I didn't do anything, you know, yet about the trees, and now I have till tomorrow. So maybe I would want to just run around and go document trees. You know, wherever I lived, I can just go around filming every kind of tree, show the bark, show the roots, show the leaves. And maybe if I didn't have a YouTube channel yet, you know, then I would just create one real quick and start posting shorts about it, or, you know, longer videos, whatever, or just take photos. Maybe I would start planting trees, start digging in the ground. Like, so anyway, my point is, I just got to nudge you to take action. And it doesn't have to be like reaching to the stars, so to speak, where you're actually on a stage or being on camera. Maybe you're doing things behind the scenes. You know, she's kind of very much looking, observing from a bigger picture. Just do something that just start moving in any direction, and maybe like let the wind blow you, you know, like the wind is guiding these sails, you know. She's got the stars. She's very mindful of the stars. Well, those stars are what, you know, they use for navigation, and they don't have anything else with them. They just kind of come as they are and follow their heart and follow the stars. So what is that inner star telling you? There's an inner star that wants to come out and let it guide you. You know, I'm looking over here, I pulled little charms. You know, it says that she uses her charms to make friendships. And, you know, this is kind of like, you know, wishing on the star idea. What's your heart's wish? What do you want to do? If you don't have any, this is a technique I use for any number of things, but I'll say it again now. When you go to bed at night, you're about to fluff the pillow, go to bed, whatever you normally do, just as you're about to go to sleep. put it out there, as a little silent prayer, like a heart swish between you and whatever, you believe in, God, universe, Buddha, Allah, Jesus, whatever. Angels, just say, hey, my heart's wish, God, is this, XXX. Or, oh, I don't have a heart's wish. I'm just looking at the heart too. Let me put that down here. It's coming to me. I don't know what my heart's wish is, and I really want to know. Kindly give me the clarity to discover what that is and to take and give me the strength and flow through me so I can take action on that. And then, help me remember this when I wake up. So that might be the direction you need to be heading in, right? Now, as far as Treebeard over here, I'm not going to go back into his messages. I read that one. But also, he's a magician of sorts. He possesses this interesting liquid out in the forest that helps really do some miraculous things. I don't want to spoil it. I do want you to go read that in the book. But just know that that's, I think, another message about plant medicine and healing and the wonders of what it can do. You might want to look around in there too and just see which ones are compatible with your body. Sometimes it takes a little, just like any other types of medicines, take some trial and error. And there might be a call later when we get to the 50 Plants That Heal deck. I'll pull a card. Maybe that's going to be a call for you coming up to look further into whatever plant I pull and just read up on it, even just for, interesting information's sake, right? All right. But anyway, the point is our underlying energy is very natural. We've got, the earth energies, the water, the air. Looks a little fiery behind him. But anyway, above all, is going to be up there with the Fool. But the underlying energy is, connecting in with nature, obviously, but remembering that, when you're at peace and in calm, you can be inspired by any number of things, and you can use the best traits and characteristics that you already inherently have to, create a better world, and that's definitely where we're heading. Remember, we're going to create a better vision than the one that we had below. We're definitely saying goodbye to that, right? And we don't need to deal with that right now. And if you are in a situation where you're dealing with that, you keep walking. Okay, we're going to get to the overall encompassing energy. You keep walking like this guy, right? He's actually letting the bad things, go behind him, like this golem creature character. This is a pretty dangerous wild card kind of figure. You never know what he's going to do. He can be pretty lethal. But Frodo here, the main character, he is just, walking on. It's like, I don't even care if you're there. You don't exist in my world where I'm heading. Remember, creating the vision of a more beautiful world. That's the vision I'm holding. He's not holding the vision of this guy, this thing that's pretty wild and dangerous. He's actually moving on as if that is grass beneath his feet, metaphorically speaking. And he's not even giving a care. And he's just walking on. Now, he's also not worried about worldly possessions. He doesn't have probably even a vase or anything, like that in the home furnishings. He's just taking whatever fits in his little bindle here. And again, just moving on. He's got his staff, his walking stick for survival. And again, go look at that video link I'm going to put below. Very interesting. He's got a sword too. But it's almost like all of these are just like superfluous. He doesn't even need any of these. He is on a mission. Even though he's tired, he's just going to keep walking through it. He's seen the gloom and doom. He, if you look at the movie, he has lived this moment. He has lived it and seen the ugliest sides of this moment. But he's going to keep walking right through it until he meets this, right? Till he gets back to this vision where it gets better and better. Okay. So what do I want to say? Well, the Fool, the Fool embarks on a new beginning. And I think once we can shed and have this tower moment, that'll totally tumble and clear the way, so we can get to greener pastures, so to speak. And I know it's showing kind of a snowy setting, but even in the snow, it's like finding the miraculous, through the destruction. We even see that even just a snow crystal in itself, you put that under a microscope, how amazing, the pattern and the perfection of it brings me back to this moment, the completion and the full circle. All right, so I think that's enough for this right now. Hopefully, like I say, maybe things click with you, maybe they don't. But even if there's just a number or a color or something, turn a phrase in here that you know, makes something click and inspires you in any way or gives you clarity. That's all I'm after, that it brings you good things in your life right now. So let's do this so I don't forget. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and pull, like, from these nature oriented decks. I'm just going to pull a few things. Of course, I've got to start with this Celtic Spirit Oracle deck, since, you know, I made a big deal out of this being a Celtic inspired reading. And we'll just go about one by one. All right, this is called, let's see, The Weavers. And I got to read this off camera, sorry. Fate, manifestation, and decisions. Okay. Interesting card. For right now, I want to focus on the weavers as being us and our ability to weave, you know, the tapestry of our own lives, our own life story. This is number 18, by the way, for people tracking numbers, or number 9. 9 is completion. Okay. And we kind of weave our own story, right? And then you can put all of those weavings together to make an even bigger picture kind of story. But I don't take this spider as anything harmful. To me, it's just doing what it does best. You know, it's weaving. So anybody kind of afraid of spiders, this might be a call to get over that fear. When you just look at, you know, each of these is just another life. All of us have a right to live here. And we've got some very basic, profound fear of things like spiders and snakes. And as a collective, again, I think we're getting rid of that. That was falsely programmed into us, right? And we're shedding that. We're letting all of those things topple. And so we can see things more clearly, like crystal clear vision of the snow or ice. You know, ice looks very much like clear crystal quartz, which is really clear and pure, right? All right, so now we're going to look at Sacred Forest Oracle too, along our little theme. And what do we have? We have Spirit Guardian of Spring activation. And we have these beautiful little sprites, these like fairy spirits, look like going around a maypole with the different colors, and a swan. And we have number, I hope I can read this right. Let me read it off camera, guys. It's 36, or number 9, again, a completion. So got like 2 9s together, you know. All right, let's go to another one. And let me see. Let's go with, here, let's go with the fairy. And I'm just randomly pulling from the decks beside me. Oh, now we got the Emperor, number 4. And we've had this in the past. Let's just see that. Let's take a good look. Number 4, the Emperor, strong, confident energy. He seems to be kind of like the master of the earth, fire, air, water, you name it. You know, seems very poised. Again, another leader figure, you know, like we have down here with Arwen and Treebeard. And let's read what this message is. It's a beautiful card, by the way. Look at that. All right, use logic and structure to increase your success. Get organized, a firm but compassionate leader. All right, so another kind of leader message. Now, you know, again, the question is, there's different styles of leading, and you can have strong power or gentle power or both. And I think he's got a representation of both. To me, this is coming off as like a fair and just leader who maybe even more leads from the heart space, which is the direction where we are going these days. It becomes more and more important. All right, now let's see what else we have. I will take from the spirit animals, and then we'll do 2 more cards and we'll wrap it up. Okay, we have number 48, which is a 12, or a 3, which is a divine number. And we have this beautiful porcupine spirit, time for beginner mind. Well, that's well suited to our Fool card at the very top that we started off with Frodo. Okay, 0, the Fool. Okay, so the Fool means we're ready to start a new beginning. And the beginner mind is very receptive, is willing to make some quote-unquote mistakes, which I really don't believe in the word mistakes. I think they're just stepping stones to provide us with new experiences. Okay? All right, then let's pull from the Earth. What is this? The Earth Alchemy? Yeah, Earth Alchemy Oracle. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to throw that one back because I didn't really put intention into the drawing of it. Give me 1 minute. Drawing of the card. Here we go. now I did. And actually it goes better with our theme anyway. So here we are. I put the other one back because I really wasn't focused, and we've had that one before recently. So this one is, I'm going to try to say it right, stromatolite and fern, acacia, and I got to read this off camera because the viewfinder is weird for me when I try to do it that way. Strip back and simplify. Look to your origins. Okay. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Strip back and simplify. Look to your origins. All right. Well, that's in a little bit of a contrast of the Fool, who's not looking back and looking forward, right? But in this case, I look at more like a cosmic level origins. We've got the spiral here. Now, in the Celtic, I think Celtic and Native American and so many other cultures around the world, then in pictographs, things written in stone, on cave walls, etc., burrows, the spiral, it is believed, represents a portal going into another dimension type energy. So I think, here when it's saying looking at the origins, it's not meaning, look to the past in so much as it is to get into the cosmic truths of things. Okay. All right. Now let's take one more, and I'm going to close my eyes and pick this one. And we have the 50 Plants That Heals deck. Let's see what we got. So we have, give it a minute to focus. We have, I think you can guess what that is. And it is Rasberry. And give me a moment here. I want to look at the benefits a little bit, if my camera will focus. I'm going to let you read that a little bit. Actually, give me a second. I got to change hands on this camera. All right, let me just see if I can read it better off camera. Okay, so, a lot of these plants help alleviate the same things. So this is, an astringent. It helps with as a diuretic and a lot of other things. So I'm just inviting you to look up the health benefits of the raspberry on your own, do a little research, and kind of be amazed at what it can do. I love looking at these cards because it's a good reminder that most every plant or tree has healing benefits. That's why they're, we're all on the planet together, and they're the basis of all Western medicine. It's got to start with some kind of plant base if it's, going to be even remotely effective. But the point being that, most of these you can use the seeds, the bark, the leaves, the flower petals, the stem parts themselves, just a lot of and the roots, a lot of beautiful uses. Like, for instance, looking at that root is reminding me of my little sassafras root pointer. And, you can just get sassafras root, throw it in a boiling pot of water, and you get a tea, a sassafras tea, which tastes a lot like root beer, because of birch beer or root beer is based on the sassafras root, right? So anyway, maybe get in touch with any number of these things and read a little bit more on your own if you feel so guided. So I'm not going to try to tie all the bonus cards together right now. Just hopefully in this reading, it just kind of something in here, clicked with you, inspired you in some way, like I said before, and it's just done in fun, loving spirit. So that's it for now. And I think as I sign off, I will show you a little bit more of the poster to the Lord of the Rings deck, just so you get an idea of how nicely, quality that this thing is made, from beginning to end, the graphics and everything about it. So it shows, it goes on and on. It shows a full, color panel, of the cards on the front. And on the back, it just shows more of the, description, but it's just done in such a beautiful, artful way. Really love it. All right, everyone. Well, hope you all are having a gorgeous right now. Tremendous peace and love to you. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.